Thank you so much, Sean, and thank you everyone for being here today. Really appreciate it, and it's been a wonderful opportunity and such great speakers. I think we've been very synergistic in the way we're approaching this, which was it's what I expected, but it's nice to see. So let's just start with what does it mean to meditate? Some of you about an hour ago meditated with Meriden. Think about meditation as being this practice of resting and awareness of the present moment. So we all have a tendency to be distracted by our thoughts, our emotions that appear in our mind at various times that we don't expect. And sometimes ideas of the past or future, taking us away from this present awareness of ourselves and our own lives. So to experience mindfulness, you usually rely on this focal point, such as maybe the breath, maybe some physical sensations in the body, and that could be maybe the temperature of your breath, something in your abdomen, wherever in your body, or maybe a mantra or following some sort of visual object, such as a candle or a mandala. So it comes in a wide variety of ways, and we're going to talk through that. So when you have this focus point, you're really helping yourself remain centered and aware of what's going on in the present. So when you experience the benefits of meditating every day, if you can get yourself to that point, or even practicing meditation twice a day, the question is, the question being, what does it mean to meditate for me, actually answers itself after a period of time. So Mindfulness Defined, I'll just put this up here. There are many meditation teachers and different types of meditation. And in fact, they come all with various definitions. So the definition that I love is by Jon Kabat-Zinn. He's one of my favorites. And he describes mindfulness as, and it's a mouthful, but paying attention in a particular way on purpose in the present moment as non-reactively, non-judgmentally, and open-heartedly as possible. Wouldn't that be beautiful if we were all in that kind of space most of the time? So mindfulness is really, observing without criticism, both internally and externally, and finding a way to be compassionate with yourself and others. So mindfulness background, mindfulness has been around. We've been hearing it a lot more about it in a variety of places nowadays, but it's really been around 2,500 years. It's just now getting to Cincinnati. No, it's an Eastern meditative tradition, really is where it's coming from. And it's a complex process. I think Meriden talked about that too, but it's simple, but it's complex at the same time, and it's difficult. It's one of the hardest things to do with some regularity, just creating that habit. And it's not hypnosis, relaxation, or distraction. It's not religious or faith-based when we're practicing this mindfulness meditation. But it's definitely a beautiful practice. And so we're going to talk about some of the benefits and then strategies around mindfulness. So there have been so many studies now that have demonstrated both physiological and psychological benefits to having a regular meditation practice. I'll just name a short list here, but improving your focus and helping you cope with pain, helping you deal with fear, strengthening your immune system, reducing chaotic thinking, recreating resiliency, helping stabilize emotions, reducing stress, helping improve sleep, decreasing anxiety and depression. If that's not enough, right, to get you to get started, I'm not sure what is, but there are very few downsides, maybe a little time involved, but and maybe some self-awareness, which might be hard for some people, but practicing this with some regularity has great benefits. So in terms of guidelines to consider, and I'm going to talk about some guidelines coming from various studies, but the key thing is really keeping this simple and staying curious with yourself, being aware of how you're reacting to it and how you're responding to yourself, and really the key things, making it your own. So the first area would be designating a space, and that space looks lovely in that picture, but your space does not need to look like that. So finding and creating a space for yourself that really feels free from work, maybe clutter, maybe getting it away from any chaos in the house, a space that allows you to feel like you can concentrate on your own well-being with minimal distractions. So If you have a family who's loud or has a TV on, or a dog barking or trying to get in the door, which happens to me sometimes, it's distracting, right? So it doesn't allow you to focus on yourself. So just finding a place that feels peaceful for you, and it can just be a little nook in the house, some part of your house. Um, Most experts talk about not really having doing meditation from your bed, so that you can allow yourself to stay alert and awake. But truly, this depends on your own intention of your practice. So if you want to fall asleep meditating, it's a great thing to get in bed and meditate. But it depends again what your goal is for that. This equipment and prop considerations, I put a lot of pictures on here on purpose, because if you Google meditation equipment, you will get website after website with a lot of things. But the truth is, for meditation, just as you did a little bit ago with Meriden, you don't need anything except yourself and your own mind and maybe a little space. So there's a lot of things that can help, though, depending on your own body. So for some people, you may need to sit in a chair. You won't be able to be on the floor with a cushion. You can see a meditation stool there that's on top of that cushion. That wouldn't be, sometimes that could be normal, not or not. But there's a lot of different props and a lot of different pillows that you can purchase to help support your body while you're meditating. The little singing bowl there is a little, there's a lot of different kinds of singing bowls and chimes that you can utilize with those. There's kits, as you can see on the very right. A timer is important if you are, for you, perhaps if you want to measure the time, so you can kind of figure out a way to do that. I would make sure from an alarm standpoint that you don't do anything too jolting to pull yourself out. So that could be a little chime. There's some beautiful ones that you can download through some apps, and we can talk about that at the end. The bracelet there, it's really beautiful. So you can get a variety. Again, you can look at websites with that too. With beads, you can use the beads for prayer, or you can use the beads to take each bead as a breath. So there's a lot of things that you can use to be able to help you. But again, the truth is you really only need you and yourself and your own motivation to do it. So from a body posture standpoint, we all have this visual image of what it probably should look like, right, to meditate. And that, I think, probably has intimidated people from maybe trying it or feeling like they're not doing it the right way. But meditation, truly integrating your body, it's not really just about the mind, it's also about the body. So, and believe it or not, it's not really meant to be physically uncomfortable. So you can do some meditation where you try and help yourself through discomfort, but it's not meant to be uncomfortable. So getting your posture right is kind of key to staying relaxed and alert instead of feeling tense or in pain. It doesn't make any sense to stay in pain. So without that, it's nearly impossible to focus on the present moment when you are uncomfortable. So chances are when you start to meditate, you might feel a little awkward or a little uncomfortable, and that's okay. Just, finding the ideal meditation posture and seating arrangement for you can take a while. And you might even find yourself kind of moving around. There's not a one size fits all. Sometimes when I've done some meditation retreats, I'm, popping up from like just sitting like that gentleman is on the picture to putting my legs out, or sometimes lying down or sitting up in a different way, depending on how your body's feeling. So again, be easy with yourself with it, with the subtleties of your own body and what you need. So some of the ideas to consider, thinking about your eyes, you can gaze slightly downward just to pay attention to you and what's going on with your body, or just even do it with your eyes closed. Your chin can be slightly tucked to keep your cervical spine aligned. And then your spine, following some sort of natural curvature, just upright, yet natural, not stiff. I like to think of it as kind of a dignified posture, if you will. Your sitting bones, your sit bones, centered and stable, not perched too far forward or spread too far back. That should be comfortable again. And your arms comfortable, just parallel to the torso, your palms maybe falling naturally on your thighs. So, you're hearing the theme. It's really finding something that's comfortable for you. And then your knees below your hips with your legs loosely crossed. If you're sitting like that, there's something called the lotus position, which you can look up, which if you're having some aches and pains, you probably wouldn't want to get into that right away. And then you can sit in a chair like you did about an hour ago. So being able to keep both feet on flat on the floor, and just allow yourself just to be. So when to meditate. So most meditation experts really talk about the best meditation are early morning, really before sunrise. Some talk between 3 and 6 a.m. That might not sound appealing to some people. So really before you jump into your day. And then at the end of the day, I generally suggest like this bookending technique or approach to meditation. And that's how I practice is, at the beginning, at the end of the day. So you may want to consider even linking your meditation time to an activity that's already established. So that's kind of called habit stacking. So activities such as maybe, when you're before you shower, after you shower, or before, after exercise, or knowing that you're always driving home from work, maybe doing it right after that. So kind of combining it with these deeply ingrained times that don't really require any special effort or forethought to it. So, really by linking your meditation to one of these tasks, the effort needed to initiate the meditation sessions is really significantly reduced then. So linking meditation with pre-established routines can really reduce the resistance most people experience when trying to create a new habit. Okay, so you're sitting and now what? So, start small. I think that's been the message here. Meditate for short periods of time, just, in which you experience like no resistance. So for instance, you might start with just 1 minute. You can start with 3, 5, 10 minutes, whatever feels doable for you. And it should be really easily attainable and create absolutely no pushback from your mind when you first start. So establishing the habit is much more important than increasing the length of time spent in meditation at the beginning. So once your initial time commitment becomes habitual, you can then begin to lengthen your meditation practice with a goal of maybe 20 to 30 minutes twice a day if you can work up to that. So but there have been health benefits from 3 minutes, so just keep that in mind. You don't have to go 20 to 30. So, guided meditations are really helpful, similar to what Meredith did earlier. There's a lot of apps out there now. They're an excellent way to settle into practice. So guided meditations can help lead you through breathing exercises, relaxation, visualization, kind of mantras, mindfulness-based practices. So that way you can get a wide variety and be able to be guided, and it takes the guesswork out of the meditation and can really help free your mind and surrender to your experience, if you will. So, know that it is usual. I say at the beginning, but can happen at any time, that your mind starts going all over the place while you're meditating. And in meditation, we call that either the monkey mind or the butterfly brain, however you want to associate that, those visuals. And continuously, just gently bring yourself back to the present. And that is the practice. So practicing this in short periods of time and then extending it. And then lastly, the key really to creating benefits for yourself is to practice this with consistency. And most people usually meditate, sitting on a cushion, as we talked about, or in a chair. But you may find it helpful to practice while walking, coloring, viewing nature, practicing, perhaps even extending your experience with more mindful living by applying mindfulness to more automatic activities that you do regularly, hopefully brushing your teeth or eating food, communicating with your spouse. So kind of extending this mindfulness practice, this meditation practice is helpful. So mindfulness experts suggest that in doing this, really paying attention, kind of savoring, slowing down allows us to really potentially double our lifespan when you think about that, by being able to be more present in the life that we have right now in front of us. So remembering to make this your own, keeping it simple, adding this information to your life where it makes most sense to you. And I wish you all the very best in starting this practice. If you have questions, let me know. One thing I want to mention is that on Monday mornings, we're calling it Mindful Mondays on the integrative medicine site. It's uchealth.com/integrative. You can get the link there at 8:30 in the morning on Mondays, which hopefully that's relatively convenient for people. We're doing about a 15, 20-minute meditation that you can just join. And it's beautiful to do with a community of people, or even if you choose not to join and you know that you'd like to meditate at that time, just know that other people are doing it, and that creates more energy for yourself and maybe some reinforcement. So thank you so much. And if you have questions, I'll be here at the end after Dr. Schatz.